Hello, everyone. Can just watch my face for a little bit. Just going to give a few minutes. I started a couple minutes early. Let's give a few minutes in case anybody wants to join. And a post. I'm going to post on the thing. I wish I could see who, because it shows me the two. And that must be me and you. I wish I could see. Because if you're the only one watching, it's gonna be lame. But I was going to find my activity. See, now it just shows one, so that's so weird. Like, it'll start off and then it'll drop. It's like I dropped myself. I don't know. All right, let's see. Now it says 2 again. Oh, very well. Oh. All right, that's cool. That's cool. You can't message me here and here. It's just my mod IT guy. My family went for a walk, so I'll just wait a couple more minutes. I think Tiff was going to join, but she forgets sometimes. It's Cider Boy's Strawberry Magic. Also, my husband is fired because he got the Cider Boys mix pack, but the mix pack he got has apple cinnamon in it, and I don't like cinnamon. No, it's not sponsored. That would be cool though. In his defense, I'm sure he didn't even look to see what was in it. He just grabbed it. So he'll have to drink the cinnamon ones because I don't like cinnamon. If you're replaying this video, I apologize for the randomness of it. Just waiting to see if Michael is going to be the only one who's going to be watching me today. Because it's only 7:03. That's true. They definitely can. It'd be cool if after it's done, I could like put a like skip to the start, and then you could like push it, skip to all of this. um, I wonder if I have to do that for my other ones too, because I usually start a few minutes and give people a little bit of time to come in. Next time I should look up some jokes or something. Not good with jokes. Kind of terrible with jokes. I can't ever remember jokes, and I don't deliver them very well. But my next class will be recorded. My next class will be recorded since it's going to be friendship bracelets, and that's kind of small. The embroidery went okay, but I think I want to record the next one so that people can actually see what I'm doing. Michael, are you sending me a joke? Because you're a really slow typer. Two muffins were in an oven. One muffin looked over at the other and said, "Oh God, it's so hot in here." And the other muffin said, "Holy crap, a talking muffin." Okay. There, I did a joke. Thanks. I really am drinking the cider boys because I burnt my tongue and it hurts. All right, well, I guess I'll start. It'll just be me and you. Okay. So you can just listen to my soothing voice while you cross animals. All right, so this is arm knitting. Arm knitting was a really popular class when I taught at Michael's. I taught at Michael's for close, I think it was 8 years. And so it was pretty popular for a while. So typically, you use heavier weight yarn. I just rated my stash upstairs. Yes, I have a yarn stash. It's very big, according to my husband. And so I found a couple of just bulky yarn. And so one thing, if you don't even know anything about yarn, because I know Michael doesn't know anything about yarn, the labels will actually tell you right here. So this one says bulky 5. So the labels will actually tell you the size of the yarn. And so it goes all the way from 0 to 6. 6 is super bulky. So I have a couple bulkies here. For arm knitting, when I taught the class, you want to put a couple of threads together. So, I mean, this is so this is bulky, but it's not, you'll see there's like yarn that's like roving big, that's like this big around, it's huge. So if you did that, obviously you would just want to use one. For these ones, typically what I would do is put 3 together, usually 2 of one color and then kind of complementary colors. So like 2 grays and a like cute purple or, something like that would do it. But I just have to kind of similar, but not the same blues. No, they're the same. They're just different dye lots. So it'll look interesting. Anyway, I'm not going to go into dye lots. So I'm just going to put two together. If you've ever knit before, this is literally going to be knitting, except with your arms instead of sticks. So that'll be exciting. There are lots of videos online, so if you ever need a refresher and you can't learn from what I'm doing, you can certainly go, hi. You can certainly go online too and look up stuff. I'm going the wrong direction. So I am going to put two together. If I can find the ends. There we go. So I got my two together here. First thing I want to do is make a slip knot. Slip knot. So the way I normally do it is I hold on to the yarn, wrap it around my hand once, and then in the back, pull it through like this. What? I missed it. Oh, slip knot. I get it. See, they're better at jokes than I am. I am terrible at jokes. All right, I will do the slip knot again. So, hold on. Wrap it around through the back. Don't get caught on your wedding ring. You did tell me a great muffin joke. And then in your hand here, make sure you, when you pull your hand out, make sure you don't lose the tail here. So I'm gonna pull like that. Except, yes, except, of course, because I don't, it's been a while since I've taught this. With knitting, you want to have a little bit of extra space. So I'm gonna do 3 arms lengths, and then I'm gonna do that slip knot. And that'll make the loop easier to hold, like that. Why do they call it a slip knot? Because it slips. Not because it sounds like the band. So then I'm going to take this off. And then you just put it on your arm. I have a cider. I burned my tongue. That's why I'm drinking it. Oh, and because my kids and husband are outside. So you put the slip knot loop on here, and so this is the slip knot, and then here's the loop. You put the loop on here, you tighten it up a little bit, but make sure that you're still able to slip your hand in and out, and it can go up your arm a little bit because you're going to have a row on here. If you've ever seen knitting, you've got like all your loops on here. So here is the tricky part now. It's called casting on. So casting on is the same as if you were casting on regular knitting. And so it can be a little bit tricky if you've never done anything like that. But this part is your tail right here. You can take your hand like this Put it right in between the two. Open up, and then with your fingers down here, grab. I'm going to do that again. You're going to take your fingers through, open, grab both the yarn, and now take this arm and go down. So it's going to look like this. Yep. Just rewind it back if you need to. And then in order to grab, yeah, you actually need to, on your thumb, go underneath this one right here and grab, sorry. So, yeah, I had to look. You just sit there and watch the rest of the video, Michael. It's fine. So one more time. In, grab, down, and then trying to keep my hands out of the way. Under this one, grab this one. Now that goes on there. So there's two. So now how many you put on here is how thick your scarf is going to be. But so I think I'm gonna do 8. This is thinner yarn, so I'm gonna do 8. So I have 2 on here now because that first one counts. So 1, 2, again. Now go under here, grab 3. Four. We're gonna have enough. 5. We're gonna go with 6 because I'm not gonna have enough. That's all right. That's why, so this tail keeps getting shorter because you're actually casting on with the tail. So if for some reason your tail is too short, pull everything out, pull some more out, and then do your slip knot there. It's not always done with super thick yarn. When I taught at Michael's, it was done with bulky yarn, and you put like 3 or 4 together and then did it. So, but if you see the blankets, that's done with that super thick yarn. So now I have my 6 on here, and now we're going to do the easy part. The easy part is going back and forth. Yeah, you can totally make a blanket doing this. They usually do the really thick yarn because this is going to be pretty holey. Again, the thicker the yarn you do, the less holey it's going to be. Sorry, my mom's texting me. The less holey it's going to be, or if you add more. So I have 2 here, you could do 3, 4, it'll make it less holey. It also depends on how tight you do things. So in my crochet and my knitting, I'm very tight when I do stuff. Yep, waiting for the jokes. I usually am really tight knitter and crocheter. So if I'm making something and it says it's going to be 5 inches or whatever, it's usually 4.5. So I'm pretty tight when I do it. Anyway, so you have your you have your 6, 8, 10, whatever you want to do. 10 would be kind of large, but so now what you're going to do is this is the yarn, the working yarn. So the working side, which is connected to your balls of yarn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab with this hand. I'm going to take the first one, slip it over, and I'm going to put this on my other hand. If you have a lot of slack in here, you can tighten it up a little bit. but just know it is going to be kind of loose. So then again, with the hand that you're coming off of, you're gonna grab the yarn, go over, make sure you still have that, put it on your new hand. You can tighten up a little bit, not too much. Grab it again, take the next one over. It's easy, right? Yeah. Grab again, over. I've done it once or twice. Grab it, over. Oh man, you know, I had a lot of people who did this when I taught at Michael's. So I'll do the last one here. Over. A lot of people got it right away. It helps when you have somebody right in person. But a lot of people got it right away. Every once in a while, you got that one person that was like, no matter how much I helped them, they just were not getting it. All right, so now I got my 6 on this arm, and I'm gonna go back, and I'm just gonna go back and forth and back and forth. So now, you're more suited to gaming, Michael. All right, grab, over, on, grab, over, on. Yeah, I actually have never done this without teaching. I've never done arm knitting where I wasn't teaching it because it's not my like favorite thing, and I do a lot more crochet and then regular knitting. I've never actually done arm knitting where I just did it just for fun. I always do it when I just teach. So I imagine I would be faster. So I'm gonna go back the other way. I actually started a crochet project yesterday. Michael knows what it is. And I'm almost done. Yeah, you know, I got a lot of people in those arm knitting classes. It might have also been because they were free. But you know, people seem to like it. A lot of younger ladies, girls. I had some teenagers and stuff come in too. So that was nice. And yeah, like you see, it's not really a keep you warm scarf. It's more of a decorative scarf. So just watch me, so mesmerizing. Yes, sorry, it's a scarf. I have seen people make, of course, you can make the blankets. You can make scarves. People do the scarves into infinity scarves where you knit it as long as you want, and then you sew the ends together so that it's in a circle. People have done shawls before, like rectangle shawls where you just cast on a lot more, and so then when it's done, it's longer. So you always want to make sure you grab onto the yarn, the arm that you're pulling your stitches off of. This isn't a very easy thing to like put down and save for later either. But you could if you needed to. Usually if you need to put it down and save it for later, you would grab a piece of yarn that was like a contrasting color, and then get to the end of one of your rows like this, and then put the yarn through and tie it so that you have those. And then you could put it back on your arm later if you needed to stop because you have kids and they're nuts. Well, thanks. These are random colors I found in my stash. I actually have some of my stash in the storage unit right now. I'm outgrowing my stash space. Oh, now it's getting longer. No, I mean, it doesn't really matter. If you're very, very picky on how it looks, then you would absolutely want to keep the same direction going through the loop. I'm not, but you certainly, like, if you were like trying to make sure you didn't have any twists at all in there, but so you can actually see the difference right here. Maybe you guys can see. So the difference is this one right here, you can see opens up like this. This one is twisted. So if you were really like when it's hanging like this, you really can't see it. But if you really wanted consistency, you would either twist or not twist. And so we'll do this first one. Just like this, slide it over would be no twist. Like this. And then turning, that would be twist. So does that answer your question? And the stash question, I have a fairly large stash of yarn. However, I have friends in a like on Ravelry, which is knitting and crocheting, whose stashes are much bigger than mine. I've been on a yarn buying hiatus for a while, so only buying the necessities. If I absolutely had a project in mind for it and I was going to use it right away, I'll buy it. Otherwise, no buying. It does. I have one of those like 9 cubby 9 cubby shelves with like the square bins that you can pull in and out. And that's full. And then I have a big box and a Rubbermaid container full. And some other things full. So here it is. Of course, if I had more strands, it would be thicker. If I had the big thick stuff, it would be better. Wouldn't be as holy. And so basically, what you do is you just go back and forth, continue with this until you get it the length that you want. In class, I would just tell people to just put it on. Is this how far you want it? You want it longer? Keep going. A little bit. Actually, just gonna do this, right? And then sew the ends together. um, I had made one with really thick yarn in class one time, and I made it super long, so you could wrap it around twice, and it was like that big after you wrapped it around twice. Don't say the S word. All of ours is almost melted. I don't need any more. It got to 50 today, and I didn't even go outside. That's right. 50-degree weather, and I'm in here with you guys. My husband took my kids outside. How come all your S words go with Pokemon? I mean, you can say sausage if you want to. You know, when people play this back, they're going to be like, these people are weird. I feel like there would be some Sahara event. Tiff, I feel like you could do like just a couple of maybe like casts on 3 and make a little bit long one and just like throw it at your cats and they'd go nuts. They don't have like Sahara Desert Pokemon. So then maybe this isn't the project for you too, if you're sitting here like trying to do this and then your cats are all up in your business. See, all things relate to Pokemon. So this is how, like, just go fast. Don't have to go fast. I can't catch any Pokemon. I'm busy. I can't catch Pokemon while I do this. Both my hands are busy. Yes, so arm knitting actually is super fast too. When I taught class at Michael's, people would finish in an hour. They would finish their scarves in an hour. I think it was a hour and a half, 2 hour class. Yeah, absolutely beginners would finish in an hour. Some of the really good ones would do 2 if they bought enough yarn. And so, you know, with these classes, I'm not gearing to like teach people how to crochet because that takes a really long time to figure it out. But arm knitting is easy, goes by super, super quick. My recommendation is to get 3 strands going instead of just my 2. We'll give it a little bit more thickness. I always like the ones that do 2 colors and then a contrasting color. That's pretty fun too. So in the yarn you use for this, we have, I talked about, so the ones that I'm using are a bulky, but it all depends on what the look you're looking for is, because this is very kind of lacy, you know, very holey. If you're okay with that, you like the look of that, definitely go and get you go to the store or whatever, and can you see it? Yep, it says 5 on it, and it's bulky. So that would be this kind, would be the bulky. And you can get whatever you kind of want. This one is just regular acrylic yarn. Or no, I'm sorry. What's this one? Well, it's 80-20 acrylic and wool. I just use wool spun. But you can get any size 5 and do that with it. These ones, I mean, you would only, to do this just as a scarf like this, you only need 1 skein of each. So do 3 strands together, whatever colors you want. So just get 3 skeins of yarn. Like I said earlier, you could do 2 grays and a purple, or you could do 2 maybe solid colors and a variegate. Like these ones are variegated yarn, so they have different colors in them. If you wanted that thicker, plusher stuff, you want to look online for like the really thick stuff. And if you're using that, use 1. Don't use 3, just use 1. I can post a link on here later and send it to you, Tiff. of the thicker stuff that I've used before. That's kind of more plush. And definitely then you could see which one to kind of use for that as well. Sorry. My youngest daughter refused to take a second nap today, so my husband took them for a walk, and she is sleeping on the walk. So, all right. So, I think I'll do a couple more here. And then I'll show you how to end. Which, of course, I forgot a pair of scissors. She's sleep riding. She's in the stroller. I don't know. I've never tried to gnaw yarn with my teeth. Probably wouldn't work very well. My scissors are right over there, so it'd be okay. All right. So I think that's good enough for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast off. It's called casting off when you're finished. Learning all these knitting lingos. So what you want to do is do your first 2 stitches normally, what we were just doing. So go like this. So that was 1, 2. So if you needed to take this off, when you have all of them on one arm, you can go take a different color yarn, slip it in here, and tie it, so then you can slip your arm out, and then they won't come apart. And then when you need to put it back on, you can just slip your hand back in there and take the yarn off. So for casting off, you've got the 2 on this side. And what you're going to do is don't hold on to your yarn. You're just going to take this back one, the first one you did, up and over, just like that. You can let it go. So now you have just the 1 on here. Take your yarn over again. So now you have 2. Take the back over the front one, not yarn. Just take it over like this. And then you're going to do another one over like that. So now you have 2 again. Take the back over the front. Find my yarn. Do another one. And this is casting off. And it's the same as if you were actually knitting. Okay, now I'm going to do my last one. Can hear my kids back. Good thing I'm wrapping up. All right. Then you got your last 2 on here. Take the back one up over this one. So now you have 1 left. And then you're going to take the yarn. You're going to go just through here. So it's like this. So now you have this, and let me grab my scissors. I can't want to go home. And cut. Has cast off. Do you want to say hi? Oh, do you have mail for me? Oh, thank you. Oh, it's a bill. You can take it back. All right, so we have finished our scarf. So you just have a couple of ends here. And then what you do is, if you don't have any big yarn needles, what you can do is on the very end here, you can see it's a little bit thicker here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, he quickly took them upstairs. What you're going to do is just kind of weave in here a little bit. So there we go. And so the yarn, I'm just going to kind of weave it in a little bit, weave it through here. And so just kind of weave it down and back up again. You never want to actually cut your yarn up where you knot it, because then it will work its way out and all of your hard work will unravel. So just weave them in. Just yes, that's a common it's a common mistake. I had this lady who would make, because our store did Wrap Up America, which they would make blankets, and she would knit these great squares and then cut them right by the by her knot, and they would start to come unraveled. So we'll just weave. And so once you get it weaved, I would go all the way down and then all the way back. Then what you can do is, then you can cut it. Use better scissors than I just grabbed. And then it's gone. And then do that for both the ends. And then you have your scarf. All right. Well, if you have any questions, you know where to find me on the sub or on here. Have a good night. I will be back in a couple days. Bye.